G'day and welcome back to Good Times by Larota, Australia, Odds and Ends. Now today we have a couple of amplifiers to look at. I own one of these and have used it for a few years now. I'm extremely happy with it. The other one I have tested is the same line, NAD Electronics, which is New Audio Dynamics, and we'll get right into it. Alright, this is the NAD C 355B. Now it's got 7 line inputs and can be used as a preamp with power amps attached. As it sits as a standalone, it's got 80 watts of power at 8 ohms and has 2 ohm drive capability. Now, if you don't understand what ohms is a measurement of resistance. So if you have an amp or any electronic product that can run at 2 ohms, it is very gutsy and you should hold on to it. Anyway, moving on. It's got an AB speaker output, which I'll show you on the back here. Right, and you've got a massive heatsink under there, which you need because these NADs do get warm and they need a bit of space to breathe. So if you wanted to with this amp, you can either run 2 pairs of speakers, or you can run the A and B channel into the 1 pair if they have multiple inputs on the back. Now, by running both A and B into 1 pair of speakers, that's called bi-wiring. And what it allows you to do is power the bottom end of the speaker, the bass, and the tweed up the top, instead of having the 1 channel do everything. Now, I have played with that a little bit, and there is a marginal difference. It is a little bit better. I don't know if I'd pay thousands of dollars for an amp just so I could buy wire speakers. I don't believe there's a justification for that. But if you do have an AB output, it will improve the sound quality slightly. Hey, let's keep going. You've got a little MP3 player input on the front here, a 3.5mm jack. So if you just want to play music off your phone, or if you've got a really crappy CD player, you can run it through that, not a problem. Excuse me. Now the THD, or Total Harmonic Distortion, sits at, I'll show you, I may as well. I'm cheating off some notes here, so if you see me looking over to my left, it's not because there's a giant hideous rat there or a spider. I'm reading some notes, okay? As I was saying, the total harmonic distortion is 0.02%. Now, what that is the noise to signal ratio. So the higher you turn up the volume, with cheaper amps anyway, the higher the harmonic distortion gets. So you might hear a lot of hiss in the background or white noise coming through your speakers, and can even sound just like distortion. Now if you've got speakers that are difficult to drive, as in they have a low sensitivity, which we'll cover in another video, using a cheap amp you could blow those speakers. Alright, moving on. This is the amp I've been using for a couple of years, and I'll show you a bit better up close. The NAD C 326B. This thing is a beast. It's also got a massive heatsink, and like the 355B, it needs room to breathe. It does get quite warm, but that apparently I've been told is all NAD products. The amplifiers get warm. That's how they design them. It does have a safety cutoff inside, so it won't melt all the circuitry or catch fire. You don't have to worry about that, as long as you let it breathe. But if you have a look on the back here, you'll see it's only got the 1 speaker output. Now, as I was saying before, with bi-wiring, it's a very minor improvement on just single wiring your speakers. So I haven't really worried about upgrading this amplifier, and I won't upgrade it for a very long time. I am extremely happy with it. It's got 50 watts of power, and that 50 watts is 50 Ferraris, not 50 Holden Chimeras. Now, I can show you on the back here as well. You've got a soft clipping feature, which is on all NAD integrated amplifiers. Now what that does is stops the peak power from going over 50 watts. See, it's like a tachometer. You can rev up to 8,000, but your car might normally sit at 3,000. It's just peak power. And what that does is, if you're running smaller speakers, it'll stop you from blowing them. But with this amp and these speakers, I haven't worried about it, because it's only momentary, that peak output. This little amp here, well, it's not little, it weighs in at just under 7 kilos. So it's quite hefty when you're trying to move it around, especially when you're sitting down like I am. Now the last one on this list is Pro-Ject MAiA, my audiophile integrated amp. Now this little beast I picked up second hand. It's an ex-demo, but if you want to buy it brand new, you're looking at roughly $1,500, unless you're getting it on a spot sale. I don't have $1,500, so second hand's going to be the go for me every time. And we'll talk a little bit about this. For its size, it's quite tiny, but don't underestimate it. It weighs 1.5 kilos. This amp has digital inputs, which the NAD amps I've just shown you don't. So if you want to run an optical lead from your tally, you'll have to buy a DAC, which is a digital audio converter, or digital analog converter. You might see this little funny thing on the top here. This is a Bluetooth antenna, and it has 9 inputs. A subwoofer output, which is just incredible for its size. Now this is rated at 40 watts at 8 ohms, and is also rated with 2 ohm capability. We've got 3 analog inputs, minus the phono input, and the rest are all digital. You've also got a USB input if you wanted to record music through your computer. Our total harmonic distortion for this little guy is 0.07%. Now again, I did have a little play with it earlier. I haven't fully set it up yet, but I can't hear it. Maybe if I had a $300,000 stereo system and then went back to this, I might hear it, but for the money I've spent on mine, and for most people like me, you won't notice it. This little bad boy comes in at 1.5 kilos. Not bad, eh? Alright. I'm going to have a little bit more fun with this new amp, and I'll see you later. G'day and welcome back to Good Times by Larota, Australia, Odds and Ends. Oh. You fucking right?
You said that,
You know what, I'm going to put that on the end of the video so people can